up, everybody? What's up there, Derek? Just wanted to welcome you. Thank you. Yeah, I totally remembered your comment, I thought, and then I was like, oh, and confirmed it for me, so thank you. What's up, Derek's daughter, too? Glad you guys enjoy the show, and I appreciate you participating tonight. What's up, Ellie? What's up, SJ? What's up, Lalo? I guess that's everybody for now. I guess a few people in the chat cleared up real nice when I had some dinner. Got my coffee refueled. It's really nice when you got like a bunch of really dark coffee at the bottom of a cup and you fill it all the way up with ice. Just that like couple of sips is just amazing. So awesome. I was waiting for this cloud to move through. What's up, Chris Astro? Welcome back. I want to get some zoomage going. It's not too bad. Pulling up Sinus Iridum. Seems like the sharpest feature tonight, at least to start with. Let me know if the levels are a good balance between talking and music. It's really weird because I turned down the volume almost like down to 1, but it still keeps blasting like it's full power, even though I know it's less. So I can hear the balanced mix all right, so I feel it's okay. Hola, what's up, Miguel? How you doing, bud? Exactly, you barely lay your finger on the camera and it's a moonquake. So I got this Atlas pulled up again. We're hanging out, of course, north of Mare Imbrium. Take a look at Plato Crater to the right, Sinus Iridum to the left. For a good, I can finally just tell you some sizes. So Sinus Iridum is something like 400 by 260 kilometers. So that's really a serious land area. And what are the walls? I was trying to look up. I don't know why they don't put that. Is that something I just can't see? 157 miles. I feel like there's somewhere where they put the walls, but interesting. Either way, I want to go check out some features that we don't really talk about very often, so I'm going to get here around Mare Frigoris and click around and see what we got. So this crater right here in the center, it's very shallow. I want to say, is that Herschel? No. Yeah. Is it? Even with this, you can't zoom in much more than that. That is... Right. Maybe I'm too zoomed in. It should be right above Sinus Iridum. You got that Bianchini and then Brugiere. To the left of that, Harpalus. And then north of that, which is what I was looking at, I feel like it is Herschel. What's up, Myron Stewart? And also, welcome Travis Bickle. Meant to say that earlier. Yeah, so looking at this kind of flattened area, and there's a little crater on the corner of that called Horrebow, Horrebow. And then north of Herschel, kind of bleeding into the Terminator line, there are a whole bunch of little features: Anaximenes, Poncelet, and we're kind of seeing, like, I feel a shadow from Crater Carpenter. Bear with me, this is the first time using this atlas, so I'm just kind of trying to match it up exactly. Doesn't look 100% like what I'm seeing, which is weird. Maybe I had to put like I did put in my location. It's weird. Anyway, it's slightly different. And then this crater right here is an Anaxagoras. I've seen that. Usually it's kind of tilted it's pointed on the left side because I don't normally see it at this phase. It's always kind of on the waning phases. So Anaxagoras is there. Let me see what I can say about that. It's Endymion. Anaxagoras, there we go. 51 kilometers in diameter. Observation, very interesting formation. Overlaps the west wall of the Goldschmidt. Goldschmidt. Circular formation, raised, steep slopes, high walls, tormented floor. Hard to see right now, it's a little hazy, to be honest. Let's keep going down here. It's kind of given some of these features like the full moon. Well, it's like 90% illuminated, so it's kind of it's flattening out a lot of features, a lot of whitewashing. Not in a political sense. Let me get a wider shot here and see what's going on. That shot looks nice. There's definitely like a thin layer of haze kind of obscuring the finer detail, but at least the turbulence is chill. Let's go ahead and check out Aristarchus coming under the Terminator line. Alright, so let's get in here. This is right around Aristarchus. Crater is pointed right under there, and we can see Herodotus to the left of that, which is being cut by the Terminator line. Aristarchus Plateau, you can only see the very walls of it. There's a tiny little crater to the north of... Let me make this a little brighter. Get it center. These two tiny little craters north of Aristarchus are Vesala, and Aristarchus B. And then you got this little kind of, almost looks like the word Zoe to the right of it, and that is called Prinz, P-R-I-N-Z. And then the pyroclastic structure to the right of that Looks like the O and the E. That's Rima Artsimovich. Let's see, dimensions are 68 kilometers. Named from a nearby crater, so I guess Artsimovich is probably a little crater. What else do we have? If we keep going to the right, you have Diophantus, Dalila, right? Diophantus 9, that's one of them. What's the other one? Delil or something. 5. A bunch of little craters next to that. I'm looking to the right. And then the really defined crater I want to say is Euler, the first one that you come up to, which has almost this like triangular formation pointed right at it. That is Euler. And then down to the left of that is... Or am I insane? I may be insane, y'all. No, I think I'm going crazy. Underneath that is Euler. Right. Okay. I'm going to center Euler on the screen right here so I get it right. That's correct. And then there are some pyroclastic structures underneath it. Rima Euler to the bottom and to the left. And that kind of leads into the filamentary structure of Copernicus, which is also looking quite amazing tonight. Lots of features within this whole, what I believe is the electrical structure of some massive arcing going on. Also of note, the other night I was talking about how Copernicus was so visible and had such defined features, and then tonight it starts kind of getting that glowing in its filamentary structure around it, and so it starts flattening out visually. But we can definitely, I can pull up some of this contrast right here, and we can see sort of where it was, but really it's pointed right at us right now. Hey, thanks Chris, appreciate that. What's going on over here? Okay, all right, there we go. So looking right on a Copernicus, a few details, 93 kilometers in diameter, height is 3,760 feet. Oh no, sorry, meters, 11,400 feet are the walls, I guess. And then it says description, young and isolated formation with hexagonal form. So it does make note of that. We're talking about hexagons being a natural form produced by electricity. Bright rays all around. Very steep slopes dominant. Mare Insularum of 900 meters. Oh, I guess so. This, what's cool is you get to learn a couple of new little things. Yo, what up, Ohio? Mike Rabel, how you doing? Just going through some lunar features. I'm using this atlas for the first time, really tonight. So right of your screen, you got Copernicus crater, and then to the left of the screen, all the way to the left, that's Kepler. And so this little region, I mean, we're in this kind of much larger area called Oceanus Procellarum, which encompasses Mare Imbrium, and then this area which is called Mare Insularum. Mare Insularum is, dimensions are 900 kilometers. I guess, it doesn't say I guess in diameter. It's not really like a circular region, it's almost like a section of Mare in between Copernicus and Kepler. This is pretty flat region sided to the north by Montes Carpathos and comprising of many mountains and isolated craters. Sorry, this is the text next to this atlas is freaking tiny. Reading it from like 3 feet away. Yo, what's up, Mary? Welcome back. Going through some real detail here. So we got Copernicus crater, right? And then we got all these filamentary structures. And then north of Copernicus, there's a little crater that's called Gay-Lussac crater. And then to the left of that, these little mountain ranges, that's Montes Carpathos, which is, they say, about 200 kilometers across, about 7,300 feet tall, oriented west-east mountain chain, situated to the north of Copernicus crater, composed with several joined mountains separated by deep valleys, 15 kilometers wide, collapsing in the east part. And then if you follow that mountain range a little bit to the top left, you'll find this other like flattened crater, double crater. That's T. Mayer. T. Mayer is 34 kilometers in diameter, and then the little crater T. Mayer A, kind of joining it, co-joined craters. Yo, what's up there, Daryl? Finally getting to do what I've been wanting to do. Got some real detail here. Quick drinks, sip of my drink. All right, we're talking about T. Mayer A. A little bit to the north of that, there's Rima Draper. And that is American named, I guess, named for a nearby crater, observation period. Some of them don't have as many details as others. Let's get some tracks going in the background. All right, so if we follow, let's go to the right of Copernicus. There's this area that kind of has little folds. And the little crater, not crater, pretty large crater, not the size of Copernicus, but Copernicus being 93 kilometers. This other crater to the right of it, Eratosthenes, is 60 kilometers in diameter with a kind of triangular central peaks. One of the more kind of, I guess, craft shapes that you'd think, like, if you didn't know better on sizes, you'd think that that was something landed or parked in the middle of a crater, but it probably just looks like mountain peaks, even though it has some nice geometry to it. So Eratosthenes, 60 kilometers in diameter, circular formation situated to the south extremity of Montes Apennines. Very steep slopes and tormented floor, especially to the south, very high walls with terraces, few extensive and flat floors, central mountain with several summits. This is just some random stuff that I'm reading about Eratosthenes. Interest level, exceptional formation. So this kind of is the pinnacle, I guess, kind of if you follow the Apennine mountain range, it ends in Eratosthenes. I feel like we're getting a little extra glow right now. I can increase that contrast just a little bit. There we go. Some of the turbulence came back. Mary, yeah, that's a good question. Mary says, how do they measure the craters? I assume that it's a combination of different methods, one being probably craft that orbit the moon and take measurements. Some would say probably going there, although I don't know about that. And then probably measuring the size of the moon and making deductions based on ratios. So you could probably deduce it by taking very high resolution imagery, mapping it to a sphere the size of the moon, and then making deductions that way backwards, engineering the numbers. But it's probably done by the Grail missions or the LRO that did full-on mapping at 50 kilometers. And you could probably say, I'm sure Then many would say that Apollo took measurements on the ground there, which very possible too. Yeah, I'm definitely getting some haze right now. It's just around the moon. It's pulling past zenith right now. With zenith, you always get kind of these. It kind of gets turbulent. I don't know. I've noticed in the past, it starts acting a little weird. Anyway, I'm gonna get a zoomed out shot real quick. Yo, what's up, Prow? What's up, Duckface Plays? Have you been here before? Yeah, Mary, I'm sure there are other ways, maybe with, I don't know, I guess that would be the way to do it. I'm thinking if anybody has any other ideas, I'm open to hear them. For me, I just am listing them out because, you know, that's what we really have right now, but you know, if the moon were much smaller, then these sizes would scale down. Although it seems like it's not totally unreasonable that this would be the right size. The moon is, what, 2,100 miles in diameter? Let me just double check that. Yeah, well, 3,474 kilometers. Which essentially is like the quarter the size of the Earth. And this was measured using Kepler's laws and parallax. And so they measured the size of the moon, and therefore you can just probably deduce the size of the features, roughly. Okay, cool, Duckface. Yeah, Duckface plays Fortnite. Sorry, man. I'm getting loopy on all these streams, man. I see a lot of people, so just, you know. Cool, welcome. What's up, Easy E? How you doing? Kenneth, been lurking. Hey, man, thanks. I'm gonna go back and do a few more, just with this atlas corroborating all these little pieces. I love it. It's a lot of information to take in and kind of get delivered to you live, but it's challenging. It's cool. All right, let's see what's going on. Plus, of course, I definitely think I get extra hot because of the LCDs cooking me. 2 LCDs are necessary for this type of work, but it's just like intense EM. Let's do. All right, where are we at? So of course I got the north side of the moon. We got looking at Mare Imbrium, Sea of Serenity, Sea of Tranquility, and Chrysium. So maybe let's just go in and take a look at the area around Chrysium. Yeah, it's really cool. I mean, like a lot of it is because I've never really done it with such a detailed atlas before, and so some of these are like features I really get excited about, and then I'm like, oh my god, what's that one? I'm like, let's look at this feature that I've always thought was kind of cool. Proclus, the very white hot crater with the 3 really prominent rays, but probably a lot more, but just the 3 or 4 kind of astrid rays coming out of the center. It's always much brighter than other regions, and then it has this kind of little pyroclastic structure that looks like a high, or Mi, to the bottom left of it. And then of course, like that kind of whole, it's sort of it's on the rim of Mare Crisium, and then is sandwiched kind of between Crisium and Sea of Serenity. And so I'm just pulling up the atlas here, and there is this kind of, what's interesting is like the rays coming out of Proclus on the left-hand side almost make like the side of a hexagon, like a tall hexagon. And then the left side of this region, which is, oh, sorry. I hope you guys are, the mic has been drifting slowly, moving away from my mouth. All right, so looking at Proclus right here, obviously this hot white crater. To the left of that, you got Franz. That's the very edge of that kind of white-ish hexagon, top left corner of that. And then the middle of it is Lyell. To the right of that, the little kind of, I guess there's Pallas Somni, which is, I want to say something to do with dreams. But I can't click on it. Why can't I click on it? Okay, there we go. Pallas Somni. And that's, it says pretty interesting formation. 200 kilometers across. Anything else? North edge of Mare Fecunditatis. Right, so this is where Mare Fecunditatis, which is south of Mare Crisium, kind of meets, did I say Tranquility? Or did I say Serenity earlier? I meant Sea of Tranquility. I'm just looking at this. Okay. I gotta adjust this atlas, man. There's something, I'm looking at it on a totally different angle. It's screwing with me. But I feel like I sort of have it. What is this little thing that says me or hi? As it says, Sinus Concordia. And then it says Cauchy, C-A-U-C-H-Y. Cauchy D says isolated circular formation with the bowl shaped. Few steep slopes, few high walls, rounded floor. Very odd. Kenneth, I'm using this thing called the Virtual Moon Atlas, which I had tried to use before, but it was crashing on Windows, and then I finally got it to work for some reason. Yo, what's up, George Kolosowski? What's going on? Duckface says, which is the furthest planet you can see with this setup? I would probably say like you could see Uranus or Pluto even with this 8-inch and a 3x Barlow just on a perfectly clear night, but with this summer haze, it's unlikely. But I can show you Mars and Saturn probably. Jupiter, I think, is... Where is Jupiter? I think Jupiter's already set. Yeah, Jupiter's definitely set, but there's Saturn and Mars to see. Yeah, I got Crisium, Proclus in view, like I was saying. I was trying to talk about some of the little areas inside that. So, of course, the two little craters inside Crisium are Pierce and Picard from the top to the bottom, those two little eyes. And then let's look at the the kind of back of Mare Crisium. Hey, what's going on, Funky Blue? How you doing? Thanks for the thumbs, and thanks for all the paws. You're watching with your animals. Let's see, so the back of Mare Crisium is this really cool area that is called Imart. That's cool. Imart says, not a lot of info. It's about 13 kilometers in diameter. You can kind of see the little broken up rock formation. I'm trying to click on that, but there's no detail on it. I'll get zoomed in a bit more so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Yeah, there's certain things that I can read and some I can't, some I can click on, but it's it finally is working for the first time, so I'm like trying to get a handle on it. So you can see this little rock formation back of Crisium. The little crater to the left of your screen, that's, I want to say, is, let's see, yeah, that's Pierce and Picard. Damn, we're pretty close up on that. It was a nice shot. I don't think I've had this one before. Ooh, that's nuts. Coming back to new music, where you at? Let's play the visit. This is slow, chill. Yeah, let's check this out. So you can see Proclus very close up. Thanks, Funky. Like and share. To the right of that, Pearson Picard, like I said. And then to the north of, so the size of these little craters, let's talk about that for a second. Proclus is 28 kilometers in diameter. And the little craters to the right of that, Pearson Picard, are, I would assume, a little bit smaller, like 23 kilometers and 18 kilometers for Pierce at the top. And if you look a little further north, you'll see a tiny little crater north of Pierce called Swift, and that's 12 kilometers. If you can believe that, make that out. Let's go to the rim top of this and kind of, I want to see this, what this looks like. All right, it's very shallow, but this is Cleomedes, which it's very kind of hard to make out, but it's a large-ish crater. Am I wrong? Cleomedes B. Yeah, Cleomedes like houses a bunch of craters in its wake, but it's 126 kilometers in diameter, so this is quite large, north of Mare Crisium. And then to the back of Mare Crisium, this is the real feature that I love, this new Mare Marginis. You can see the dark Mare region on the very edge of the moon. This is the clearest I've seen it, maybe, and it's likely because of libration. That's what's really cool about the moon. Like, it gives us a lot of data. And then this really excellent region again, Mare Undarum, Undarum. They call this region tortured land. Hey, peace out, Travis Bickle. Thanks for stopping by. Go wide for a second here, because you can really see it better. George Kolosowski says Mare Marginis. Where is that? Marginis, right. Then Spumans, correct. And then Undarum. These features underneath Mare Crisium. Yeah, I think I've seen that video, Daryl. It's really cool. Because you set it up top funky. You said you were sharing it. So, we're going down over here for a little bit. You can see without the contrast, it's a little washed out. Excuse me. All right. All right, all right. Yeah, let's get in on the Messiers. We got, yeah, there we go. That's Messier A and B. The long ray coming out. All right, so let's go back to this atlas real quick. All right, so Messier A, about 13 kilometers in diameter. Formation lengthened west-east and formed with two joined craters and forming a remarkable couple with Messier. Level of interest, very interesting formation. It says two long rectilinear and bright rays of 100 kilometers to the west. It's a little hazy, but you can see it on the double zoom right here. Yeah, don't worry about the typing, my man. I appreciate the interaction, you know, helps me, keeps it on track. There's so much to look at. Mary says, are the darker areas deeper? So the darker areas, assumedly, are areas that were blasted out and then were filled up with lava and or, you know, moon stuff and then cooled off. So they are flatter and less, I guess, sorry, they're more lowlands, and you have the areas around it, the kind of brighter areas are highlands. All good, Funky, welcome. All right, so let's oblique, very hard impact or very low, skip like a rock into the highlands on the left, and then stuff kept going. It's really fascinating, this feature. So we are in right now looking, this whole darker region is Mare Fecunditatis. And then north of these two features, we got a really great crater, Taruntius, which I was showing earlier tonight. A little bit washed out. Let's try and get that contrast up. Kind of see it a little bit better over there. What is this? So this is, come on, give me Taruntius. There you go. 56 kilometers in diameter. Circular formation damage to the north with steep slopes supporting Taruntius L to the west and Taruntius B to the south. Few high walls crushed by Cameron to the northwest with a tormented floor. Internal hills ring. Central mountains, craterlets, and lines of crest. Interest level, exceptional formation. Yeah, you're welcome. If I can answer things, I really try. So the darker areas are lava. You know, that is one possibility. The other possibility is that it's just kind of moon land, you know, so like different types of elements, iron, clay, rock, sediment, probably different types of, what do I want to say, titanium regions apparently. It's probably sodium, lots of hydrogen. If you look at moon rock, or at least spectrum analysis of moon rocks, there's a lot of stuff that's similar to Earth, and there's some types of molecules that don't exist on Earth. But you could say it's lava that's cooled. But these regions are very, very large, so this idea that the moon was blasted and these mares were created is something I'm still kind of on the fence about, because it would have blown the moon to bits, I feel. So in a way, maybe it's just kind of a bit shallower than we think. And maybe, you know, these darker regions were just regions that were, you know, where the highlands were carved away somehow. You know, this is just me talking. George Kalosowski says Torricelli sounds like pasta, but a small teardrop crater here. I'm getting lost in the chat, and there's a lot going on. So I'm still hanging out right here in Mare Crisium. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can get a sense of where we are. George Kalosowski says, in general, for smooth lava, the higher titanium magma is darker than the lighter iron-rich basalts. Okay. A little bit more technical. As Kenneth says, the lunar maria are large, dark basaltic plains on Earth's moon, formed by ancient volcanic eruptions. They were dubbed maria, Latin for seas, and early astronomers who mistook them for actual seas. So, yeah, so there are a lot of, there is the whole kind of bombardment idea that the moon kind of, actually let me get this right. There are a lot of different ones. Some of them are talking about accretion, where like a piece of Earth was blasted off by something hitting it, and then all these different little pieces orbited Earth and eventually turned into a sphere and became the moon. And so that theory, There's another one that the moon was kind of captured by Earth or by the sun. And there are also ideas behind that. There are people who debunked that. Tom Van Flandern and several other proponents of the EU have talked about the discrepancies between, or the likelihood of a planetary capture coming at another object in an elliptical orbit. So there's that, and then if you see the formation of the moon on the NASA Goddard YouTube channel, you'll see that there's this whole period of bombardment that kind of created these surface features. However, a lot of these features don't really look like impact craters, and that's something that's been shown over and over again in the electric universe stuff. So I kind of sit on the sidelines and look at all these different theories, and I wonder if volcanoes really filled up these large basins, or whether this kind of, the darker areas are actually one layer of the moon, and then there's this entire other layer of the moon that's kind of the lighter areas, and then via certain types of effects or like interactions between either space or the moon and other planets, or the moon and Earth, or some sort of EM discharge, that these areas were blasted away, revealing the darker areas. That could be one other way of looking at it. So, but it could also be exactly how it's told. There are other formations that are always referred to as volcanic lava flows, but don't really look like lava flows or having starting point. So I kind of reserve judgment on that. Mary says, why doesn't the moon rotate? The moon does rotate, though. What we notice, what we perceive as rotation as the moon, or what we look at, the disk of the moon rotates clockwise if you tracked it all night. But in fact, it does rotate. George Kalosowski says, zoom in on Alphonsus right now. Let me find, where's Alphonsus? Alphonsus is near Ptolemais, which is south of Copernicus. Let's go there, all right? Alright, so here we go. Getting down here on, I'll say that this large central region is Ptolemais, and then Alphonsus. George Kalosowski says those three popped up inside, those three dark little craters, when another nearby impactor like stomping the beach hand, clamming, and see the clams spurt. I'll check out, here I'll open George's channel. Is it on your YouTube? so looking in here, what's up there, Tom? Thanks for addressing the moon rotation. Right, so we're looking at Alphonsus. So I'm chewing on some ice. Our Alphonsus crater with these 3 little dark craters and a central peak. And then to the north of that, the much larger crater, Ptolemaeus. And Ptolemaeus is 154 kilometers in diameter, Alphonsus 118 kilometers. Yeah, good suggestion, George. Thanks for jumping in on this one. All right, to the right of that, I guess that little crater to the north of Ptolemaeus is Herschel crater, this little one. And Herschel, so crazy. Yeah, Herschel is 41 kilometers in diameter. Then moving up to this little kind of darkened region, Sinus Midi, tiny little, almost looks like, I guess the Sinus must be bay. Almost looks like a little mare. George Kosowski says those dark bits are actually dark volcanic cones. Let's go back to this Alphonsus shot. Yeah, really good call out, man. Thanks for that one. Let's get back on Alphonsus right here. Let the image settle for a second. We'll get it. It'll look a little bit sharper. Alright, so we're just drifting up towards Chrysium. That was a bird that just passed real close. I think the details around, sorry, not Chrysium, Copernicus, I meant. The details in the rays are looking really nice. So as we go up towards Chrysium, there are a couple of little features. There's Reinhold and Reinhold B. Those two little small craters to the bottom left of Copernicus. And there's this little kind of tiny little dome-shaped feature between Copernicus and Reinhold that is called Fouth. I try, Funky. I try. Yeah, they even say Copernicus is a hexagon. In fact, I have it right here. So Copernicus, let's look at the description. It says, young and isolated formation with hexagonal form, bright rays all around. Looking at it, 93 kilometers in diameter. And we've seen a lot of Copernicus, so let's look over to the right. I haven't done some of that. So this kind of darkened area you'll see right in the center, Eratosthenes, and then between Eratosthenes and Copernicus is almost a very invisible, like shallow crater area called Stadius. George, I think it's, is it Faust or Fouth? F-A-U-T-H, apparently, it's spelled. Unless you're talking about something else. So Copernicus, between Copernicus and Eratosthenes, you got Stadius, and then this kind of little area underneath Eratosthenes is Sinus Aestrum. No, Aestum? A-E-S-T-U-U-M. It's cool. I'll label for you guys. Alright, so I'm seeing some note on Bullialdus. I know where that is. Bullialdus is how we spell it, okay? Let's find that. I think I know where that is. Think is coming up right here. It's a smaller crater, but talk about hexagons with a central peak. Bullialdus. I believe this is it, right? And above it is Lubieniski. And Bullialdus is 61 kilometers across. Center of your screen right now. I'll just hit that label right on top of it so y'all know what I'm talking about. This is right next to Mare Nubium. And it's also right nearby that kind of the rays coming off of Tycho crater. Hey, thanks, Kenneth. This is one of the longer jams. Good to kind of talk over. I'd love to hear Ken, you and George and Daryl, your thoughts on this long formation coming off of Tycho. I mean, I'd love to hear everybody's thought on it, but it always is remarkable to me because it's, I'm just gonna look real quick at Tycho on the wide shot. You can kind of see the marking coming from center Tycho all the way upwards. A lot of features in its path, but I don't think I can actually even, I don't think it even has a marker of sorts. I mean, and I wonder even if maybe it even has nothing to do with Tycho or Tico. But this thing, I would assume, is something like, if Tico is about 86 kilometers in diameter, so this is like 1, 2, 3, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, I want to say like 800 kilometers maybe. This kind of like butter smudge coming out of it. And it's very different than the other rays, I feel like. George, you're talking about this Tico thing or just the moon in general, about all these weird freaking features? And so we're looking at Borealis, which is right, it cuts right on the edge of the top of that butter mark, the butter knife mark. And then, right, it looks like ice cream scoop. There you go. That's what I keep thinking. It's like when you roll your like ice cream scooper through ice cream for like 700 kilometers. To the left of that, there's that kind of little, that's Mare Humorum and Gassendi crater, which we should probably jump into for a second. Gassendi and what was the other one above it? Gassendi A? No, but there's something else. Gassendi. Let's get in there for a sec. Whoops. All right. This is looking pretty good. Ladies and gentlemen, if you look out your right window, Gassendi crater should be to right. Starboard, I think. Is it? Starboard is right. Anyway, either way. Rima Gassendi and Rima A and B above it. Really cool. It always used to confuse me with Posidonius, which is much further across near Mars Serenitatis, which I'll go show you in a second, but it really, Posidonius I feel is like a sister crater to Gassendi. They both have these kind of flat, very large, almost similar size. Gassendi is 111 kilometers in diameter. It's got a flat floor, but with all these cool little striations, like sinuous rails, which for me are like electrical, but some think are volcanic. And they have the central peaks. It says circular formation situated on the north bank of Mare Humorum, steep slopes. Very large flat floor covered by Rima Gassendi. Internal mountainous rings, double central mountain, 1,200 miles high. 1,200 meters high, 1,200 miles, that's a lot. Hills, craterlets, and lines of the crest. Interest level, exceptional formation. Right, isn't it so interesting? For a long time I thought they were the same one, Posidonius. I was like, oh, and I was labeling them. Actually, that's not true. I went back and checked if I had done it wrong, but Posidonius is Posidonius, but I know that I called Gassendi Posidonius once before on a stream. So anyway, just checking myself. Yeah, so they both ended up having very similar things with like being on the rim of a mare. And so also looking at Mare Humorum, let's see what they say. So the bird that passed by, lots of birdies tonight. Let's see what they say about this other area. There's Mersenius. Where is that? That's, I guess, under the Terminator? Oh, no. I gotta tell you how freaking weird this is. So I'm looking at, on the left screen, I have the actual footage from the moon. that I'm streaming, and then to the right I have this atlas that looks almost identical to what I'm looking at on the screen in terms of zoom level. And so I just moved the whole freaking thing thinking it was the atlas. You can tell how. What's up, Karen B? How you doing? So there's this whole kind of let's move up a little bit north so I can look at this better. This is really interesting. There's this little kind of whiter, like lighter region called agarthikides. Is that what it is? Yeah, agarthikides. Chides. It's a really interesting name. Agartha, if anybody knows, is apparently a hollow earth thing. And this is Agarthikides 1, this little lighter area. Large low-profile dome, commonly known as fireman's hat, says extrusive volcanism, volcanic shield. I guess that's why it's a dome. Cheers, Karen, I'm alright. George Kolosowski says Schiller might be nice. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Let's see. Yeah, let's go down south. What's up, Adam? How's it going? I need to see Blackland or Nightland. Oh, no way, Keith, you got a flyby? Weird UFO tonight. What'd it look like? I gotta go check it. Damn. Crazy. Anything like what I had last night, like a dark one or a light, like shiny light one? I'm just too many things open right now, so I'm not gonna check it all. I'll have to check it afterwards. But nice work, as always. All right, let's trying to check out this Schiller crater. Where are we at? Ah, there we go. No shit, ring? Damn. That's pretty crazy. Dude, that's crazy. I don't know, man. We have, you know, I do not doubt that we have some amazing craft made by man. Happy to go take a look at that. Crazy shit. Also, do you have any thoughts on what I captured yesterday at the beginning of the stream? Have you seen stuff like that before? It's just like in the first opening minutes of yesterday's stream was like, I tracked it for a solid 8 minutes or more. Straight up Thanos ring. Yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like our tech is 50 years ahead, maybe, or if not more, and we don't even know. But it's still fucking crazy that we get to capture all this stuff, do this work, so keep it going, man. Keep up the good work. We're logging this stuff for future generations of astronomers. Hopefully they'll look back and be like, yo, those cats back in the 2010s archived the moon while we still had it before it crashed to Earth. Just kidding. I shouldn't say that, but it's in every movie, you know what I mean? Like, there's some weird addiction to the fact that the moon will crash to Earth, but I don't think it can really happen. But people certainly really think it can. Anyway, we're taking a look at Schiller crater over here. Schiller is a super elongated one, 179 kilometers in diameter. All right, that song finally ended. That was one jam that I did. Like, perfect for talking over for a while. I've been talking for a while, man. Damn. Whew. Super duper fun though, getting deep on the moon. So what do we got? So we're at Schiller's. Oh no, that's a bar. It's Schiller, and I need a song to talk over. Where we at? Where we at? Where we at? Yeah, the moon is slowly moving away from Earth. But what's very interesting is how close was it when it first started? If you work that backwards, given a couple of inches per year. Let's get deep. Funky Blue, what are you talking at? Hoping I had answers on what? Ask questions, but you keep not asking. You said the history of the Mayans, searching, hoping you had answers from natives. Yeah, not sure what you're talking about. All right, so let's keep moving around. I was hanging out at Schiller, but I feel like it's cleared up enough to kind of just do like a nice sweeping. If you want to unsub, you should. If you don't. I'm not forcing you, but I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let's check out Kepler for a second. Jesus, man. Please, let's be cool. Everyone be cool. Anyway, I really hate putting anybody in timeout or banning people, but just like, don't harass me, please. I just want to talk about the moon, do some chill astronomy. So looking at Kepler crater right here. One of my favorite features, obviously. I love this whole kind of what I call the golden triangle. Look at that, another big bird flying by. By default, says George Kalasowski, says if impactor theory plausible, moon would have had a 10 to 20,000 miles initially and then been moving out. I mean, that's an amazing thing though, seeing the moon from 10,000 miles away. And how that might have affected the oceans must have been crazy. But I don't know. I'm open to kind of anything at this point, but a lot of the ideas that I've heard just kind of, we're really just speculating at this point. And then, there are those stories of, that are only a few thousand years old that have stories about no moon at all in the skies. Anyway, I'm kind of loving this region right here as the Terminator crosses Aristarchus Plateau. I gotta say, for all the stuff that I feel are electrical discharge, Kepler actually looks like something just smashed right into it. But, these kind of rays that come out, although, you could talk about ejecta and, see ballistic experiments, but it's so fascinating to me that they look a lot more dendritic and, I don't know, I've kind of crossed over to the side where these things really just look like dendrites, and and Lichtenberg patterns, you know, and it very much looks like electrical arcing, like electrical filamentary structure, I guess, especially around, you can see right here, around Aristarchus crater. You know, this stuff doesn't really look like ejecta or blast. It almost, you know, it looks like it kind of striates and tentacles outwards. So I don't know if that's how like a meteor blast on a massive surface like that would propagate outwards like that. If that's possible, then maybe these impacts are true. However, when you really look at it, like especially Billy Elverton's stuff and CJ Ransom's experiments in the laboratories produce similar types of filamentary lines. And you know, like, anyway, that's where I go, kind of. I mean, another really important feature that doesn't really have. I mean, you could say that Herodotus kind of leads into Valles Scrotarii, but you know, the really close-up shots don't show that correctly. It doesn't really look volcanic, but you know, of course, I'm just guessing. At the same time, I'm looking at pictures that we've seen on Earth, and you know, this kind of Schroeder's Valley that is a little bit hidden right now in the shadows is like 200 to 300 kilometers. Actually, let me click on that. Herodotus G. Aristarchus C. Can I really get onto it right now? I guess it's under the Terminator, but tomorrow night we'll take a look at Schroeder's Valley. George says, dendritic, yes, because a softer icy snowball comet later would make a paintball splatter once Imbrium cooled, versus, say, hard, fast iron nickel rifle bullet like Plato or Grimaldi. Okay, that's an interesting thought. You know, of course, well, not you know, but for me, there's definitely like a big discrepancy between the analysis of comets being icy snowballs versus being you know, rocky bodies and sandy bodies with geology on them that release filamentary pattern, you know, filamentary plasma that looked to us like snowballs in the past, but in fact is just really the interaction of the electrical nature of that, especially like Comet 67P, for example, the double-lobed structures creating arcing versus sublimation. I don't know. What do you think about icy snowballs versus rocky bodies being comets? It's still producing, I mean, ultimately at the very core of it all, electrical structures permeate throughout in terms of patterns. Guys, can I just say that I'm really happy to stay on this image right here while the Terminator crosses Aristarchus Plateau. It's probably one of the coolest shots I've seen. Let me know what you think. Yeah, Schroeder's Valley looks like a big sperm. No shit. But this is like what's cool right here. Even though I'm not recording, I'm zoomed in. The stream is recording, and if we if we sped up the footage over time, you'd see the kind of Terminator line moving across Aristarchus. Well, you know, if you take the shots from the dark side of the moon, not the dark side, sorry, the far side of the moon, the other side of the moon that we don't see, has been photographed by not just Apollo apparently, but by other robotic craft. Some Russian crafts and the Chinese crafts have taken shots of the moon from the backside, and you'll see that there are very few darker Mare regions. The Mare are really not happening on the far side. So for me, there's this really the correlation of the fact that the moon was closer, which we know. The moon has water, which we know now, for sure. And then there are these large Maria on the front that are facing Earth, as far as we know, perpetually. And so you'd think that the interaction between Earth and the moon, especially since we see that face, would create these massive electrical arcing scenarios, which is why you see all these very unique is an oxymoron. You see these unique features, and especially like this stuff right here, this what looks like pyroclastic, like blast stuff that looks like it was splattered and then turned into rock somehow. It's so interesting because it doesn't feel like rubble. It almost feels like it was carved, or like it had a, I don't know, it had a liquid form, then it froze. But this idea that we know how the moon kind of was hot, then it cooled, is just also another theory. You know, it might have been very hot and then had a molten core and then cooled. But we don't know if it's really just like almost like a hollow rock body with like a magnetic, electromagnetic field that's generated by its constituent elements, like an iron nickel kind of battery in an electrical system, and it's generating its own kind of electromagnetic field without an internal dynamo, for example. Or it's trapped in between two electrical fields, you know, the Earth and potentially Ceres or the Sun, and it's charged in some way. So I don't know, the moon to me, there are a lot of really interesting theories. Not on a Ball says capture theory, popular till the 80s, accretion theory. You know, the accretion theory is, you know, the fracturing off of a piece of Earth that kind of orbited and ultimately turned into a planetoid structure. You know, something that can be done in simulations, but we've really never seen it in reality. It's hard to prove. Fission theory, merging of two smaller bodies, I guess, and then giant impact theory. For me, it's more interesting to look at the surface features of the moon and kind of analyze analyze the surface features of the moon. For example, Aristarchus, and you know, especially the geometry of it, kind of features that we can see. George says, we are only seeing the 2D projection of the impactor plume in 3D. Perfect plume with flaws from the impact terrain that just settled in no atmosphere and 1/6 of the gravity. Also, yep, possible. I mean, not entirely denying that that's how it could be. This whole region, the Sinus Iridum region as well. Looking at Sinus Iridum at this angle, it almost starts to look like a hexagon as well. You kind of get the straight walls again with the corner pinches. You guys see that too? Man, I need a little break. 1 second. Damn. Only I could get a masseuse to work on me while I did the show. But I'm not complaining. We get some clear skies to see the moon up close. This area around Anaxagoras. Hey, peace out, Daryl. Thanks for hanging out. What's up, Jacqueline? How you doing? Yeah, I need to walk around a little bit. Getting a little stagnant on this chair right here. My posture is failing. So I'm gonna take a little break. It's looking nice and clear. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. And it's Thursday too, crossing over. Yo, what's up, y'all? Just want to hop on, say goodnight, Mary, Daryl, take care, both of y'all. Sleep well. Kenya called it. I was definitely going to Mars. I was trying to get Saturn, but no dice. It's behind some clouds right now, but we got some detail, interesting detail on Mars. Got that 3X in. What's going on, Awake? How you doing, buddy? Big old moon tonight. Mary, thanks. You have a super evening too. It's got some decent Mars up. I feel it's like, I think that's Valles Marineris. It definitely cleared, dust storm wise. Oof. Reggae going on in the background. So I don't have any contrast settings. I can push them just a little bit. Image is definitely getting affected by the haze and the light of the moon. It's pretty typical. You know, you're not going to get the best planetary footage with a almost full moon out, but still pretty nice. Of course, as I talk about it, it's cloudy. What was that?
You have a lot of possessions?
What you mean? What you mean? Position make me rich? I don't got that no type of richness.
How important is the ganja to arrest the man?
Ganja is a bird, this is herb.
Herb. Does it matter to you that it's still against the law here in Jamaica?
Every law is illegal.
Every law is illegal.
Every government upon the face of this
Yo,
earth
peace
is
out, proud. Have a good one, brother.
One of them is legal. Rasta
It's involved in progress.
In making understanding, like
Understanding.
traditional culture to people. Rasta not killers.
Rasta.
You do good before you can be a Rasta. If
You have
it's
to do
bad,
good.
Forward to
if it's
Africa.
bad, then you're bad. If it's good, then you're good.
What would I have to do to be a Rastafari?
Well, the first thing
Of course, I put on the 3X for Mars and that got some fluffy white clouds, of course.
That you should go back to
Yeah, I'm gonna have to switch back to the wide view. I mean, it'll look pretty, but yeah, that's what happens.
forward, not back, forward.
Yeah? Go forward to Africa,
Yeah.
not back. Do you think that will ever happen? Do you really believe that will happen?
Rastafarianism is very popular in Jamaica, yet in Canada, the United States, it has a bad reputation. People are associated with drugs and the trafficking of marijuana and violence, police
Yeah,
arrests.
man, them crucified Christ, remember? Christ was a Christian and them crucified Christ saying he's not what
No,
it
but
is.
let's go back to the facts. People have been arrested, and Rastafarians in Toronto, for example, have a very bad reputation.
When I mean, you know, I wouldn't say that the Rastafarians have a bad reputation. I would say people give the Rastafarians bad reputation because the Rastafarians, I mean, all of these things happening before the Rastafarians even start coming to Canada anyway around here.
But the things that are very obvious are things like the way you look, right? To most people who are very conservative in dress, you look quite strange. Plus the fact that you advocate smoking
Yeah,
marijuana.
yes, I'll show you this now. Could they tell God that it's not legal?
No, but you're...
They couldn't tell God that it's
You
not
have a
legal.
very strong religious belief, but other people don't necessarily share that. And what they see are the obvious things. And isn't it, in fact, true that many Jamaican people get involved in the trafficking of marijuana and therefore get the bad reputation associated with
Yeah, the
Rastafarianism?
clouds just moved in.
Trafficking. You see, we're really, I don't...
You hear how stupid this woman is, unfortunately. Like trying to attack Bob Marley about some trafficking shit, and he's just like trying to be patient. It's just such a shame. It's been going on for so long. guy's making some amazing music, and she's just like trying to catch him on this idea of like he's involved in trafficking weed. It's so stupid. Damn it. You got this like amazing individual on your hands, and that's what you're like harassing him about. And he kind of like chopped up that interview, threw it on top of the background of Slave Driver. I had that track for a long time. All right, that got a little clearer. That's nice. There's a big fluffy white cloud formation coming through. Yeah, I cannot wait for like Mars in like a few weeks once the humidity's died down a little bit. Atmospherics are just wrangling the image. Back to Luna, where the focal reducer is the wide shot with the Nexstar. Just some of that contrast. It's like talk about somebody who should have made a lot more music, Bob. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't really need to be making that much music. Like, not to give them any shit, but I'm gonna give them shit, but like, you know, somebody like Rolling Stones, you know, they hit a certain peak in musicality and it kind of just gets, after a certain point, you know? But I feel like Bob was just starting to hit this really awesome place of production and producing other stuff, but he had such a high level, high taste of music. Like he would have produced some amazing, like really incredible artists, I'm sure. He wouldn't have catered to the lowest common. Hey, hell yeah, George. Says, hey, weed is legal in Canada. Oh, Canadistan. Nice, October 17th, like 80 days or so. Love it. Yeah, hey, I'll give it to AC/DC. At least they kept the core going till the very end, you know. With Malcolm and everything. Yeah, the Who. I mean, that kind of imploded, unfortunately. And I don't want to like shit on the Stones. They're not bad, you know. But definitely would have preferred Bob Marley making music for, you know, into his 70s. Like if you look at Steel Pulse today. They're still kicking ass. Lee Scratch Perry. Those guys really know what the F is going on with the vibe. You know, but they've been saying that shit for a while. Same thing with Fela. But Fela didn't make it either, you know? Yo, Derek Leonard and fam, have a great one. Thanks for stopping by and interacting tonight. When am I gonna throw down a guitar freestyle? I could do that right now. I don't know, I'm pretty tired, but let's do it. Let's do it. All right, let me find something a little less severe. Playing dry without reverb. I mean, it sounds like there's reverb, but it's super dry, and there's latency. It's like such an interesting experience. but you plow through, keep going. I find myself a little backing track. Why do I write such complicated chord progressions? Just fumbling all over the place here. Hey yo, thanks for the link, Keith. I want to quickly look at that. No worries, Funky. Just let's all be chill. Did this really open? Oh my god. That's insane, man. It's like it's floating. That's crazy, dude. Absolutely nuts. I'm like absolutely freaking nuts. Yeah, I said all good, Funky, no problem. Yeah, like, I don't know, is that a UFO, man? Like, is that like, it looks like a little, like a washer or gear, you know? Like bolt flying through space. But it also kind of looks like a weird, like, type of balloon type thing, or is that like space junk? Dude, absolutely nuts. Great capture, great zoom, good work. Space plot thickens even more. Just, can you imagine, like, if just the last few years, just the independent astronomers on YouTube have captured this many weird things that that all the real observatories that watch the moon are just like rife with incredible footage. Yeah, Donut. What's up, Flatfish says, UFO, lol, do you see any little green men? Definitely no green men. Won't see that. Yeah, I would do Boston covers, but it's gonna get flagged. All right, y'all, 1:11 a.m. I think it's time. Feels like it's clouding up. I thought it was gonna be clear around this time, but I feel like maybe we got our due already. It is Thursday after all. It says clear, astronomy good. Good. I don't know, let's stick it out for a little bit. It says mostly clear. Yeah, it's supposed to get even clearer. Here, I'll do something that might not be picked up, but it probably will. Sunk on the water. I could do a lot of any of those, you know, but distortion sound over here, it'll just squeak to high hell if I turn on the pedal. Yeah, you can call me Chris, or Captain, or Space, or Take Back, or CD. But you can call me Chris, that's all good. Yeah, where are you at, George? Which state? It's not even the ads, it's more that there are certain, I think it happened to me once, maybe, where they took down, yeah, there's a stream of mine that doesn't show in America because I played, like, was it Beatles? Or it was like one of those super famous songs, and yeah, you just I can't remove the song, it's super annoying. Let me take a look outside. I don't know, it looks kind of gross out. Funky blue, don't be depressed, it's all good. Oh right, you said Canada before, Canadistan. You're in Toronto, like that city. I like Montreal as well. Canadistan's pretty sweet, pretty sweet. I don't know, stick it out for a few more minutes, let's see if it clears. Damn hot still. The cats, destroy the stream and flow. That's why you don't let this lay across your leg, but you do it. Lying so low, feeling so high. Don't go to work today, toil away. Your mama don't care what you so high, oh, playing there today, waste away, yeah. I'll close this door. That's a bit better. So who is the real one? Who hasn't will now? I the hunter. You gather the rose to do all the voodoo you do. You want what you want, but God, not enough. Never found the middle. So one is the real one who has a will. Now I was the hunter. You gather the rose to do all the voodoo you do. What you want, but God, not enough. Never solve the riddle. So flying so low and so high. Go to work today and toil away. You want what you want, God, not enough. You could never find the middle. I know what it means to shine, counting up the starting line. And meant to look so fine, and meant to stop the time. You know you're spinning my head, what it's up to keep around the second part of it. I know what it means to shine, I know what it means to be the second part of it. You wanted it, so who is the real one? Who has a will now? I was the vulture. We carry the stones to do all the voodoo we do. We want, God, not enough. We could never solve the riddle. I'm running on an LTD over here. It's like an ESP knockoff sort of thing. Twin humbuckers. But honestly, like, this is not my prime setup. I got it, I usually run off like Logic and kind of do the full mix, and it sounds a lot more like guitar alone, voice alone. So right now I'm running like voice and guitar through this old Boss pedal board. So I'm getting like the same delay, and I can't really turn on different sounds for each. And then that's going into a tiny little like crappy microphone, like default sound card of the computer, because the stupid MIDI thing doesn't work with OBS. Anyway, it sort of works. Hopefully, like, I think tomorrow or the day after, I'll set up on the 11-inch and proper audio. But I think that's it for me, y'all. I can hear myself like almost in triplicate, so it's really hard to even play. I'm like playing and there's like this major latency lag. So like I hear myself like a half a second later. It's one of the most complicated things to do if you ever play music. It's like that binaural stuff where I'm like tripping out half the time. Plus trying to remember some lyrics late night, whatever. That's how it goes. I appreciate it. Yo, George and Kenneth and whoever else helped throw me some names and features. I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the great questions, everybody else. Funky Blue, hope you feel better. You can fart in the mic. All right, let's keep it above board, everybody. Have a great day tomorrow, and I'll catch you on the next stream. Let's find a song to take us out to. All right, everybody, hope you feel special, and good night again. Thanks. Peace. Oh, with your candlelight, I got your potion while I play. Your distant wishes, my delight, to your fire in the sky. Oh, I'll take you for a while. All that rose for you. What you do to try to feel special.